now, hopefully, the sex ratio makes sense from a chromosomal basis. That's why you end up with the 50% chance of having a boy or a girl. So the next thing I want to talk about is what happens when things don't go according to plan during meiosis. And this is a process that's called non-disjunction. And I'm going to sketch it out on the board, and then we're going to talk about the consequences of it. Okay? So, meiotic non-disjunction is going to be what happens when homologous chromosomes or sister chromatids don't separate from each other properly during meiosis. And I'll just write a brief description of that up here and then draw the sketch out for you guys, and we can look at the consequences. So this is when homologous chromosomes or sister chromatids don't separate properly in meiosis. And I'm going to choose one of the chromosomes to sketch out for you guys. And I'm going to choose chromosome 21. Okay? So here's chromosome 21. It's one of the little chromosomes. And we're going to draw out meiosis for chromosome 21 and see how we can end up with, or what we mean by not separating properly in meiosis. Okay? You guys ready for this? No? So there's our cell with a pair of homologous chromosomes, chromosome 21. Okay, we will make our sister chromatids for it. Okay, we will line them up as a tetrad. And we'll homologously recombine them. So I'll swap part of this over here, and vice versa. So next what's going to occur is the pair of sister chromatids are going to move over here, the pair of sister chromatids move to the other side, and then the cell divides. So let's do that. I'm going to omit some steps because you guys are so familiar with meiosis. Everything good? Has anything gone awry yet? Everything seem typical? All right, so we'll line them up in metaphase again and separate them. And let's imagine this cell separates where the sister chromatids move away from each other to the different poles of the cell, and the cell divides, giving us one cell, two cells that each have one copy of chromosome 21. But over here, if we don't properly separate the sister chromatids in meiosis on the other cell, which is a process that can and does occur, we could end up with this situation. Both chromosomes moving in concert to one side and both being incorporated into just one of the cells. So we end up with that. Yes? Yes. This is the chromosomal process. This is the process in meiosis that can result in the chromosomal makeup that in turn results in Down syndrome. So Down syndrome is a description of the physical traits and the physical problems that individuals with Down syndrome experience. It's based on inheriting an extra copy of chromosome 21. So if this is your egg, and a sperm comes along that has one copy of chromosome 21 and fertilizes that egg, what is going to be the copy number for chromosome 21 for that organism? How many copies of chromosome 21 will they have?
3.
They'll have 3 copies. All right? So they'll have the 2 copies they inherited from mom and the 1 copy they inherited from dad. So if you were to draw, let me just use a different color here to indicate this. If you were to draw the cell that results from that fusion, the cell would look like this. 1 chromosome 21 from dad, 1 chromosome 21 from mom, and a 3rd chromosome 21 from mom as well. Yeah?
Does this only occur with eggs or with the male sexual reproduction as well? Meaning, like, can this 21st chromosome only happen with female sex cells?
It can't, it's not that it can only happen with female sex cells, but it's more likely to occur in female sex cells.
But there could be a sperm with 2 that
certainly, absolutely. And it does occur. It's just less common. So we call a cell that is triple for chromosome 21, we call it trisomic for chromosome 21. And when this cell divides, if you imagine this cell going through mitosis to make 2 cells, and then mitosis again to make 4 cells and 8 cells, when it does that, think about what's going to happen to these chromosomes. You're going to synthesize a sister chromatid for each one of them, and then because they're all independent of each other, they'll line up in metaphase just like any other chromosome. And so 1 cell with 3 copies of chromosome 21 becomes 2 cells with 3 copies of chromosome 21, becomes 4 cells and 8 cells and so on. So every cell in this individual following this error in meiosis has 3 copies of chromosome 21. And the result of this is what you guys recognize as Down syndrome. And I sort of sketched out in slightly more fancy format up here what I just drew on the board. All right? But the egg being fertilized by a sperm. And I should say, I put normal in quotes because normal doesn't really exist. I should have used the word typical because it's more common. But I think it's important to remember when we talk about Down syndrome and all the other chromosomal or genetic disorders that they are a normal part of the human condition. And so it's not really fair to stigmatize those people who happen to inherit a different number of chromosomes. And so I sort of opt not to show images of people who have the physical disorders or the diseases that result from this because I think it's a little bit invasive of their privacy and kind of gawking at other humans. And it's important to remember that this occurrence that makes a trisomic individual has always occurred, it currently occurs, and will forever occur for humans. So it's just a part of humanity that a subset of people will be born with 3 copies of chromosome 21.